if we go into how people think, right? People think in what we call symbols. And symbols are basically any noun that you can think of. It's not a verb, right? When I say play, what's your question? Play.
Play what?
Yeah, exactly, right? So how people think is fundamentally based on nouns. And so when we say symbol, we're talking about basketball. When I say hockey, there's a certain image that you conjure up in your brain. When I say the Pope, when I say the Canadian flag. The second thing that is important is what we call secret symbols. So there's a plate, right? Unless you work in the plate industry, plates are very mundane. They're very normal things, right? So when we say sacred symbols, we think of something like the Quran, Bible, the cross, Buddha, and things that you value.
Mother.
Right, mother, right? The maple leaves. So how do you have sacred symbols in a company, right? And how do you make people buy into these sacred symbols? So essentially, that breaks down to what Simon Sinek calls "What's your why?" Have you seen that?
Oh, it's right.
Yeah. Well, what's your why? What's your why? And when we say "What's your why?" it's basically and he used the case of Apple, right? He didn't say for Apple he split into three circles. There's the what, there's the how, and there's the why, right? The what they do is maybe iPods, iPhones, laptops, whatever, right? And what is if you base your company on a what, then pretty much once that cash cow dies, your company's dead. And so it's generally a bad idea to have your values, what's sacred in your company aligned with the what. How you do it, right? Through efficient processing, through the means you do, something like that, through a very nice interface. Through that's also secondary because those can also get phased out. So when Simon Sinek talks about the why, it's pretty much for Apple, it's basically we make beautiful things that are easy to use. We just happen to make iPhones, right? And so that makes Apple able to adapt to anything. The best way for something sacred to be embodied in your company is a story. And that's how humans worked for millions of years. And when I say story, I mean, we're talking about mythology, right? The myth of origin. So one thing you see in all cultures is every culture has a creation story. In the Greek era of city-states, every city has their own god, and they say, "Oh, my god is thunder, Thor, and we're descendants of Thor. We're descendants of this god. We're descendants of that god, right?" And they have a story to justify their origin. And what we're finding with a lot of companies is there's the best companies have a story, have an icon, have a sacred symbol. So when you think of Apple, who do you think of?
Steve Jobs.
Right. When you think of Tesla, who do you think of?
Elon
Yeah.
Musk, right?
Right. When you think of Nike.
I think of Michael Jordan.
Right, same here, right? I think Michael Jordan too, right? And so there's a myth of origin for all of them. And these stories are embodied in individuals. And so what I want to really talk about today in terms of a business idea is, what is the sacred symbol of your business?